back with more Buffy. This is episode 4 of season 5, and I'm very excited to carry on with this season. Really liking where they're kind of going with it so far. Keeping a lot of like the comedic kind of elements, I think, that they really nailed, I think, in season 4. And we have some stuff going on with Dawn and, you know, a mystery surrounding her. I really enjoyed the last episode as well, with like double Xander. And I'm excited to see where they're going to take it next. And I feel like we're going to start to really reach the point of the season now where they start planting a lot of elements outside of Dawn, obviously, for like maybe a big bad or series long arc of some kind. So I'm very excited to see where the season's going to go from here. So let's get right into the next one. Damn. Wonder why their clothes like turn to ash too. Never thought about that.
Why do I even bother to show?
You shouldn't be out here when she's patrolling. Oh, I saw that. Looks like neither boy's entirely welcome.
Oh dear.
You should take him home, Slayer. Make him stay there. I've got knitting needles he can borrow.
Spike.
He likes getting in, you know, under the skin of couples, doesn't he?
What?
I will make your neck my chalice. And
Oh.
drink deep.
And Charlotte Corday wasn't no martyr either.
Buffy,
What?
listen to us. We're arguing. We're having a debate about a college lecture. I have dreamt of this day since forever. You are turning into quite the student.
They're growing up.
Should I be watching my occipital lobe?
Your what?
Occipital.
I must say, I'm very impressed. Yeah, carpentry is pretty cool.
Aw, look at him helping out. He has a place.
Keep thinking how cool it would be if we got a real psychic to sit up here and read fortunes and stuff. You should do it.
Do it.
But I... Here, do me.
Okay.
What do you see?
If it's death, I'm turning this fucking episode off.
Look at this place.
Ooh.
Let's test this puppy out. You can take me?
Yes. Oh.
Well. Looky here.
I'll do anything.
Anything, will you?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I said I'll do anything. Can you help with the thinking?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Suppose I can do that.
He's good at the thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, these aren't for eating. I'm just trying to get the extra out of the way so I could.
Get the toy.
Get this.
What is this? Who are you?
Oh shit! Oh fucking hell, this took a turn. What the fuck?
Ain't too serious.
Thank God. I was freaking out.
Jesus. Is that from all the drugs and shit from the initiative?
What if you have a heart attack?
Listen to me. Calm down.
Me? Calm down? I'm not the one with a pulse of 150.
My heart's different than yours, Buffy. It works differently now. It's okay.
But you're still a human, Riley.
Is
You
it?
can still have a heart attack.
I'm a human who was used as a lab rat for months.
Yeah, she's not saying it's your fault.
Hey, how are you?
Also, I feel like Riley's been trying too hard with Buffy this episode.
Tried to make Castor go crazy by putting itching powder in his beard. It's about the government.
Call the initiative. If they know what's wrong with them, they have to help.
At least they're letting her hang out with them.
First of all,
We gotta get you into an operating room. Very convincing. Makes me completely want to put myself under government control. Please take me to where she messed us up bad. Now the government's
I agree.
themselves out to kiss it, make it better.
So he might just be so like messed up from the drugs he doesn't even
Not permitted to say.
say.
like know that's what he wants. He wants to get help, but his brain's like going, no.
Maybe he just needs some time alone. Like, I had this friend once who really liked this girl, and he got all worried that maybe she didn't like him back, and maybe that made him act like a total jerk. Maybe Riley reminds me of that friend.
Because I also have this friend, and I have it on really good authority that she really likes that guy, your friend. And by the by, my friend... You guys, enough! Riley is in real danger here.
That's true, I should be laughing, sorry.
Anya, Xander, why don't you guys... Guy is really starting to bug me in that special I want to shove something wooden through his heart kind of way.
He does seem extra twitchy lately. Maybe the whole not killing.
Everyone does, apparently.
Plus hanging out all day. Their doctors get to him in time. You get the catch.
Oh, dear, is the enormous hall monitor sick? Tell me, is he gonna die?
The enormous hall monitor.
I think I'll get half now.
Wow, that kind of physically pained me a bit, but I appreciate the sentiment. Oh dear.
You got yourself a new patient, Doc.
Oh dear.
That chip is deeply embedded in your cerebral cortex. Removing it could leave you a vegetable.
That's not gonna happen, mate. See, I have faith in your survival instinct.
They're talking a lot about like bits of the brain in this episode.
See how it looks. Whoa. There, that's better.
Cool.
Riley! Come on out!
She's getting very magic-y.
The light.
Oh dear. At least he's not stood in the corner facing the wall, like Blair Witch.
I'm taking you to the doctor.
The one from the government, you mean? Like the ones who did this to me in the first place?
He's the only one that understands what's wrong with you. He's the only one that can...
Yeah, I can see both sides of this.
I'm more powerful than I've ever been, Buffy. Most people would kill to feel this way.
Yeah, and this feeling is going to...
Yeah, but you burn out the candle really quickly.
I can handle it. Best case scenario, they turn me into Joe Normal. Just another guy.
And that's not enough for you?
It's not enough for you.
Why would you say that?
Oh man, I can understand why he's insecure, but
I'm bailing because you're not in the super...
he feels like they'd only have a healthy relationship if he was stronger than her, which isn't
Inside
right.
101, nobody has ever known me the way you do. Nobody. I've opened up to you in ways that I've never...
Your mum?
opened. Do you think so little of me?
Buffy.
No. No.
Don't talk when she's got her cry face on because it's too good.
Last year with you, and I need you healthy. But if you want to throw it all away because you don't trust me, then
Her mum just had a health scare. That's going to be a wake-up call if nothing else.
Take me, Tom.
Thank you.
we have to hurry.
Smart decision.
The doctor said we didn't have much time.
Cool. Angel's heart wouldn't beat. His is beating too much. Interesting.
Is it supposed to do that?
Please. For God's sake, please be quiet.
Listen, Buster. Riley?
I'm okay.
You're not okay.
We're out of time.
Say you're not okay.
We don't find the medics. Would you please put out that cigarette? It's really not allowed.
Oh yeah? Says who? Oh god, sorry. Didn't see the sign.
I really love Harmony.
Got places to go. And Slayers to kill.
Big bad Spike's back then. If he's a big bad for this season again, I'd be alright with that.
Oops.
Oh! So it didn't work? Shit!
A penny.
I told you I couldn't do it.
Oh god.
Oh.
Doctor, we need you now! How's it going in there?
Back to normal.
Normal can be good.
Yeah.
Knowing you have to be normal when you could be extraordinary, I think, is a more extraordinary thing.
Are you gonna be okay? Because I should really go check on my mom.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah. There's nothing for you here. There's her.
I was gonna say.
Right. There's her. And? You used to have a mission and now you're
Yeah,
one.
but he's already proved you wrong when you said he had nothing. Oh boy.
I've known it's you. Been nearly 6 hours.
Well, it would have been less
Eh.
if I was busy cleaning up your mess.
What the fuck?
Spike, I want you.
Buffy, I love you.
Okay, that's not real. Okay.
Oh, God.
Oh shit.
Please, no.
Buckle up. Holy shit. Here we go. Okay, I really liked that episode. I thought it was really, really good. They talked about brains a lot in that episode. I felt there were at least 2 conversations about like bits of the brain, and then we had everything with Spike as well, getting his like brain exposed to get the chip out, even though it didn't actually happen. So I just picked up on that, and I just thought I'd mention it. I don't know why it would be a thing or anything, but there we are. And I also liked kind of, I don't know, it felt like there were lots of moments about like growing up and coming of age, because we had like Buffy getting like her own training kind of studio, Tara potentially even having a role as like reading fortunes and stuff in the shop, Giles actually having the shop, and I think that's setting that's really, really cool. I like Xander kind of finding his place, like doing workmanship for Giles and building shelves and stuff. That was really cool to see him like actively involved in stuff. Just things like that, and even when they were, you know, Buffy and Wither were talking and debating about their lecture, it does really feel like they've really matured and grown up a lot. So I liked that kind of thing, seeing everyone sort of slot into place almost, I feel like. Also, we saw a lot of characters kind of really get a bit twitchy, and maybe almost feel a bit out of place or not quite there yet. Obviously everything with Riley, he was very kind of aggravated and stuff like that because of what was going on with him. Spike is the same, you know, thinking that Buffy's everywhere and all around him and stuff, and he can't get rid of her. So we had a few kind of cases like that throughout the episode as well, which I thought was quite an interesting kind of thing. I believe we'd seen Graham in season 4. I'm pretty sure I recognised that guy. So it's cool that they kind of brought him back and revisited the Initiative story. It felt like a necessity, I believe, at this point. So I'm glad they did do that. It was very, very interesting. Toying again with Riley, which side does he belong on? Much like he did last season. And it's interesting that even though the Initiative's kind of been shut down, that debate can still somehow go on, which I think's an interesting thing. Even if one of the things that Riley was torn between last season is taken out of the equation with the Initiative, it can still be calling to him and it's still going to be part of him, quite literally, because he felt the after effects of it in a big way in this episode. It makes a lot of sense, because going through at the start of the episode, I was getting the impression, I think a lot of it came from his confession to Xander about how Buffy doesn't love him. I feel like he was really trying too hard to like be in Buffy's life and force his way in and get her attention, you know, try and desperately relate to her. He was trying a bit too hard with that, and you know, some of the things he was saying, the attitude he was having, I'm like, come on man, you're better than that. And then it all kind of came down to this whole thing about his heart going super fast. And I did like that they kind of revisited the after effects of the whole thing that the Initiative and Walsh did to Riley last season, and getting kind of an episode really focused on that I thought was really cool. I'm glad they did that, and I feel bad for the guy, I do. I know I yap on about liking Riley. Again, he's not one of my absolute favourite characters, but you know, at the start of last season he had this whole kind of life for himself, and he had a place, and he thought he had friends and family with like Forrest and Walsh and the Initiative and all of that, and he's even kind of living a secret life at the start of last season. So that must have been quite exciting for him when people didn't know he was, you know, a member of the Initiative. He was just kind of like the TA for Walsh. And season 4 took all of that away from him. So the way he was living his life, and his life as he knew it, was completely like ripped from him, and he realised that that life he had and clearly enjoyed and loved was actually quite toxic to him and damaging him in the long term. So that can't have been an easy thing for him to deal with, and he's still very much dealing with that. And the only thing he really got out of it, out of the whole experience with season 4, was Buffy. And I think even he feels like he's losing her now because, you know, at least he thinks she doesn't love him. And I really got the sense of that distance between them in this episode, so I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't. Because I think the only person she's told she loved Riley was Angel in Sanctuary in season 1 of Angel. And if she says that about him to her former love, you know, I think that was more so just to kind of get at him in that moment. Because that was very much what that scene in Sanctuary was about. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that, and just the kind of toxic masculinity thing, I guess, is a big deal with Riley as a character. I think that could be a big reason why he's not very well received, particularly in society today, because it's an issue that would need to be addressed with him. Because the fact that he thinks he can't have a good relationship with Buffy, or a satisfying relationship for him, unless he's kind of the dominant one and the strong one, is completely the wrong attitude to have. But I can't really hold that attitude against him entirely. I feel like, you know, he needs to learn, and he's had time to kind of learn that, but he hasn't. So that's like, but at the same time, I don't know, he's been fed all those lies for a very long time from the Initiative, and he's like the big soldier man, people giving him nicknames, like Spike did in this episode, for instance. I'm sure he's heard of all those nicknames. He's kind of thinking like, well, I guess that's who I am. And I just think that's kind of tragic in a way, that he truly believes he's worthless if he's not the strongest in the room, or, you know, he's not the warrior out of, you know, his relationship. He's always struggled, I think, with Buffy being the Slayer and stuff like that. And I think a lot of that is to do with the fact that she's like the only good thing in his life at the minute. Now he's trying to rebuild it after he lost the Initiative and everything. So I just feel for him in that sense. So yeah, exploring that with Riley and his kind of insecurities and stuff I thought was very interesting. And I really liked as well, they kind of explored a similar thing with Xander very briefly. Obviously he didn't have a lot to do in this episode, but he had a central episode last time, so that's kind of okay. When he was very much talking about himself, when he was talking about his friend and his feelings for Buffy, stuff like that, he got very insecure about that. And then I thought it was very sweet that Anya tried to use a similar kind of thing with her friend to make him feel better. I really liked that, that was very sweet. And he even said he kind of related to Riley in that, or his friend related to Riley in that moment, and stuff like that, which I think was very, very true, because they both had similar experiences with Buffy. And obviously now Xander was the one who kind of heard that confession from Riley in the last episode. So I feel like he was kind of fighting his corner there, which I thought was quite an endearing thing. So I really liked that kind of link between two people who felt like they either could never win Buffy's love or were losing it. So I thought that was interesting. I really liked what they did. So yeah, some of Riley's attitudes and stuff are a bit like, come on man, you're better than that, and what the hell are you doing? But I can't entirely blame him for it, because a lot of it came from the way he's been kind of manipulated and raised as a soldier almost, and fed all these drugs that are damaging his body and probably making him not think particularly straight, and causing a lot of insecurity in him, because, you know, he can't even support himself because his body was like dying basically and tearing itself apart from the inside out. So he couldn't even rely on himself. So I don't think he was even capable of trusting his own gut, and what he was saying probably wasn't exactly what he was meaning and thinking, because his body is just fucked up by the Initiative. So the focus on him in this episode and exploring that issue I thought was very well done, and I enjoyed that. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with that, because obviously that's going to cause a lot more tension, I think, with Buffy and Riley in the future. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, Xander and Anya were great in their little scenes together, very, very briefly, and it was nice seeing, like, Giles opening up the shop while nearly getting it ready to be opened. That was cool. Willow being adorable as always. I liked her getting excited about the debate that her and Buffy were having. That was really funny. And supporting Tara when she kind of suggested maybe getting a sidekick at the magic shop. I'd like to see Tara kind of fill that role. I think that'd be kind of cool. I even mentioned, might have been the last reaction or the one before, I think it was episode 2 actually of this season. I think Tara's a very wise person, so she could very easily be like that kind of psychic, and I think she'd do great at that. So that'd be cool to kind of see her do that role. So that could be interesting. And I enjoyed those little snippets of their relationship, and Willow using a spell to kind of light up the cave and stuff, or the school or whatever, when they were walking around it. That was very interesting as well. My leg's dying, so I'm just going to move that. Oh, there we go. Sat down for too long. What else? Oh, Harmony. I really like Harmony. I think she's really, really funny. I love what she brings to it, and I don't know, it was really endearing when she like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the sign, because, you know, she's still very young, really, isn't she? And yeah, I mean, some of Riley's attitude and stuff to Buffy, and the kind of toxic masculinity in that, and he feels like he needs to be the big man and he can't open up or show weakness or anything. You know, it's not the best attitude. But at least, you know, he didn't pull a Spike and say, you know, you can stay here if you sleep with me. So, you know, every cloud. But yeah, I like Harmony's inclusion and the lightheartedness she kind of brings to episodes. And kind of seeing her downfall, and once again going back to Spike, going back to that guy she was kind of obsessed with for a lot of last season as well. A sad cycle that Harmony's going through, and I'd be interested in seeing maybe a bit more of that and see if she can finally break it at some point. And then Dawn, I mean, she kept butting in on conversations this episode. I was like, can you be quiet? But the thing with Joyce was very interesting, and I feel like that's going to be a long-running thing. I feel like this could be the start of people maybe noticing that Dawn shouldn't belong, because just before Joyce collapsed, she was like, who are you? It was like, she didn't recognise her. I feel like that was kind of something slipping through the cracks there, because obviously Dawn doesn't really belong there, and she hasn't always been around. So that was interesting that Joyce seemed to be one of the first people to notice that. And maybe that's going to happen to more people now. More people are going to start noticing what's going on and that Dawn shouldn't be there. So I thought that was kind of an interesting way of bringing that about. And I don't know if, like, Dawn somehow can make people ill, or whoever put Dawn in that place, if it isn't her herself, can, like, I don't know. I mean, Joyce has started to notice. She's seen through the plan, like, make her collapse or something. I don't know. So there's obviously something bigger going on there that I'm very excited to kind of see them explore a bit more. And then Spike. I really thought we were going to get the chip out in this episode, and I thought that could have been an interesting dilemma for him, but obviously that wasn't the case. So the struggle continues. But it does make sense that he was getting quite erratic, and he's getting really, really tired of just Buffy, you know, always butting in on his life. And now I kind of see why he was frustrated by that. Because of that ending scene where he dreamed they were making out and stuff. So yeah, I've said, like, basically right from the start, I've always known that Spike became a love interest at some point. I feel like this might be the start of that officially. So yeah, I think this should be interesting. I don't know how I thought it might get started, because I don't think Buffy is interested at all in Spike in that way. So maybe it's just one-sided, at least for now. He seems to kind of be quite a revelation for him at the end there, and he's like, oh god, please no. So clearly he's recognised an attraction to her, if not affection. So that could be interesting to see what happens with that in the future. But I always enjoyed the focus on Spike, and this episode was no exception. he's very good at like manipulating couples and getting in between them. So he spotted an opportunity to kind of pit Buffy and Riley against each other at the start, and he took it. And then again, when Buffy came to him to kind of ask him to find Riley, he was like, "Oh, I can make this about myself." So obviously he can be a very selfish guy, and he doesn't have a soul, so of course. So I liked how he kind of twisted that mission and made it kind of about him and made it his own and stuff like that. So yeah, I always enjoy Spike, we know this. So very intrigued by that ending and where that's going to take us. That's definitely going to be the start of quite a long running thing, I think. I'd be very interested in seeing if Buffy finds out anytime soon that maybe he's kind of discovered something in himself, that he actually likes her, or maybe that's deep down why he's never actually been able to kill her. Because he's attracted to her, which could be quite an interesting thing. So I'm very intrigued as to where they're going to take that story and what Buffy's reaction to it would be. I feel like she'd probably just stake herself. But yeah, overall, I really, really enjoyed this episode. I loved the focus on Riley and the after effects of what the initiative did to him and everything. Seeing him struggle, you know, you can kind of understand it. Well, at least I can. I know a lot of people don't like him. So I liked the focus on that. I liked everything they did with Spike, and that ending does make things very interesting. The stuff with Joyce and Dawn, we'll have to see where they go with it. You know, I think the cracks are beginning to show in the fact that Dawn doesn't belong. So hopefully we're going to get a lot more of that soon, because we're still not really any closer to finding out what the hell is going on with that. But they keep addressing it, so that's good. And yeah, just everyone kind of slowly finding their place in the group, I feel like, and all these hints that they really are growing up and getting older. It is nice, because I always enjoy it when shows that are normally set in high school at the start or something, they don't stay in high school forever or keep them young forever. You know, The Simpsons, they've been like the same ages for nearly 30 years now, you know. So they always could just be, you know, Bart and Lisa and all that, they're just going to be stuck in school forever. But I like it that shows like Buffy and stuff move on and have like people graduate from school and stuff like that. And I think it just makes it kind of, I don't know, more like you're involved in the world, I guess, and it's moving with you and it's aging with you. You just get more involved in it then, I think, and more invested. So I like that they're kind of showing that these guys are growing up and everyone's getting older. And yeah, I'm very, very intrigued as to where they're going to take all these different things that they really did set up in this episode. So yeah, overall, really, really good episode, really good, really fun as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing where they take this next. And my next reaction will be to episode 5 of Buffy. So I'll be watching that right now. And until my next reaction, thanks for watching.